Hi guys, welcome back on my channel, Dorota Palicka, international nail artist and educator, and I have prepared a really nice video for you, very informative on the structure of the coffin shaped nails. Have we preview of the set in here? Yeah, I will show you step by step how to sculpt those nails in the quickest possible way using your left hand, because we all struggle doing our dominant hands with not dominant hands, and I hope you really enjoy this video. If you do, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, as there is lots of tutorials coming up every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday. Let's start! So I'm missing one nail and I have leave it for you guys so you could watch it as well. And I'm so happy, like it's so nice to have a fresh set, you know. The fresh set is always so much cleaner, so much nicer, so much more beautiful. So I have removed the extensions, old extensions from my nails because my natural nails have been really, really long. My next step is to push back the cuticles. Obviously, I'm working with my crab hand, like not dominant hand. I'm right-handed and I'm using my left hand at the moment. I'm pushing back the cuticles, and this is my working finger where I hold all the files, e-file, brushes, so there is always excess skin. So I'm really pushing this back on the side so I can get kind of a nicer shape. I want to widen those part of my nail here. Okay, so push it back really nice and properly, and then using e-file and the cuticle bit, we are going to give it a quick cuticle clean. I have cleaned them a little bit already, so it's just a wee tiny one. And I look, guys, how I'm working also with my left hand. I'm doing things like quite slow and then going into the one side first, put it back into the reverse, and then filing the other side. Don't go at the angle because you will make a holes in your nail. You want to really have nice and straight. Here I need to file it a little bit more just because I've got those excess of the skin, and straight away I'm going to file a little bit of the skin here as well. Okay. And that already looks so much better and cleaner. Switch it off. Take a file and give it a couple scratches all over, because we want the extensions to last really nice and long time. So give it scratches to it. And then shorten the free edge a little bit. I've got high hyponychium, that's a skin which lie directly underneath of this nail. So I have to watch it, and I cannot file it, like shorten it completely, because it would be really, really sore. Also, this side of the nail bed is much shorter, so I'm trying to leave it a little bit longer than the other side, like the free edge, because then it is easier for me to apply the nail form. That's my nail filed. Remove the dust and then dehydrate it. We are going to use the blue scrub to dehydrate the entire nail. Okay, nice and squeaky clean. I can see there is still tiny bit of the gel left in that corner here, so I'm just going to file that away. Don't want much of the old product. And quite often for filing, I would use both of my hands. So I would hold the file with the left hand and I would file something with the left hand, but also I'm doing the movements of my right hand just to make my life easier. That's better. So I have removed some old product which I had in there, remove the dust, and then we can apply the nail form. That's the roll of the nail forms I'm using. I find it much easier if I close the form beforehand. So we've got those sticker there. Don't place it too close in here. Leave some small gap, because if you've got hyponychium and you need to cut out, you will be cutting out only one layer of the form. That's a useful tip, guys, for you. And I do have those high hyponychium there, so I need to cut out a tiny amount so it doesn't hurt during the application, okay? So I'm just cutting out the space for my hyponychium, and this way the form can slide more underneath of the nail as well, okay? Then I also want to cut just about the wideness of my nail, but we need to make sure we've got more so we can pinch it. So that's mean I need a cut in here, and I need the cut in there. And this way the form is going to be really nicely pinched. Pinching gives the strength to it. So roll it in between the fingers to get a really nice C-curve. Close the top of the form. Make sure they are all like in the same level. If you do this part messy, all the nail is going to be really messy, guys, okay? And then we are going to slide this form underneath of the finger. I don't want the form to go this way. I don't want the form to go too much down the way. I want the form to be nice and straight. Okay, I need to still cut out a tiny bit more for my hyponychium, but only on the one side, because here I've got the longer nail bed. The other way, I have a longer free edge, no nail bed. Okay, so that's the shape of my hyponychium. Still more. There we are. That's what I need to bin. Okay, so this is a shape of my nail, and the forms, you would cut it at kind of almost the same, but at the same time all different, because each nail is different. So there isn't like a one form fit all. You have to kind of do it at custom. Make sure it's nice and straight, and then once you're happy with it, we can start closing this form. It's funny because when I have no nails, I can feel it almost like they are kind of sore, especially the hyponychium nails. I do feel much better with extensions on, and I'm doing even pressing the buttons on the phone. So you can see the form is nice and straight. There is no gaps in here. There is no gaps on the other side, and it comes up nice and straight in here. The length is going to be M1/2, almost L. So I'm going to squeeze this form even more at the end. Keep remembering that if we squeeze the form automatically goes up a little bit, but we are not going to go all the way down here, but here. So that will be in the height of the cuticle, and that's what you really want to have a nice shape of the nails. And I use this technique for like square shape, for almond shape, for coffin shape nails, and I find that I get a really the nicest results. Okay, so that's how I apply the form. Then the next step is to put an extra nail prep, because during the form application we have probably touched the nails a million times, and then universal air bond once this is dry. Okay, so you are waiting for it to dry. The gel we will use is a perfect roast one. We've got all those gels on our website as well, which is www.dorotapalicka.com. Universal air bond, as you can see it, the nail prep has dried. And now if you've got problematic nails, you can apply it twice. Since I'm doing the things in my left hand and I'm a bit not as confident with my left hand, I have put it twice just in case. Then we are going to use the brush and the wipe. I always like to clean my brush. Dry wipe is good. get it into the shape like I want those wee point to be there, so I can really precisely go around those cuticle area. And this is really handy, guys, for you as well. And now, since I am I am using my left hand and I want the gel to be on this side of the brush, this is how I'm going to pick up. I cannot go like this because then the gel is on the other side of the brush. So I'm picking up on the correct side of the brush, only on the one side of the brush, okay? So you can see it like the product is one side of the brush and the other side is clear. Remove the excess of this product. We don't want that product. So we can really close go to the cuticle. Like if you notice, I'm almost touching those cuticles. But because I've got so little product, I don't have to get scared. I'm going to get them flooded. Okay, and then with the rest, we can just apply the product all over. We pick up another scoop and we are going to build up these extensions, also watching for the most problematic areas, which is the place where the natural nail joins with the extension. So I'm always putting a little bit more product there so we can also pinch it. Okay, I'm picking up another scoop of the product, again only on the one side of my brush, and then direct the finger. Ideally, you want to put the finger down and you want to work with both brush and your hand, okay? This is the quickest application. I am quite not mastered this technique with my left hand yet, so usually I keep my right hand kind of straight. We are going to almost a letter L, doing it only in the middle. Pick up another scoop, because by the time we will do one side and the other side, the product will run a little bit to those sides and help us as well. Okay, so I've got here more product, twist it so I can see what I'm doing. Nice coffin shape. Pick up another scoop on the one side of the brush, work nice and neat. And then we are doing the other side. Look, that's my brush is keeping a contact all the time with the product. I don't want to lift it up because then I introduce air bubbles. Okay, join this place and there. Clean it. Clean the other side. And then let's cook it. So we are going to cure it for 30 seconds, and then using a pinching clamp we will pinch the product to get a nice C-curve. I've got my pinching clamps in there. In the meantime, I'm going to clean the brush. So again, it's going to be easier to build up the apex for me. Okay, check if it's cured enough. Now, obviously, I usually use my extensions. I have no extensions, so I don't want to touch it with my fingers. I would use the cuticle pusher. And this side, listen, guys. I think this side isn't as cure as well, so I'm just going to freeze it for another 5 seconds. The louder voice you get, the louder noise you get, the better it is cured. There we are, and now I can just apply the pinching clamp. So if the product is under cured, it will lift from the nail, so you don't want that. So I'm checking if I'm definitely cured it long enough and start pinching. Okay, it's not on my nail bed, it's at the free edge, and finish the curing. Okay, just a couple seconds longer. So get my brush ready on the side, and then we'll remove the pinching clamp and build up the apex on that nail. So remove the pinching clamp, and we can see it how much narrow it is. So now I can see I'm missing more product in there, and maybe I'm missing product there. I'm first of all going to fill up those gaps after a small thin layer on the entire nail. So I apply nice and thin layer through the entire nail, like everywhere. This nail is actually difficult because of those presses from the brush when I'm doing a client's nails. Okay, so fill up this gap first, like very small amount of the product. If you want to leave less product, press harder, and if you want to leave more product, press lighter. Then pick up a huge scoop of the product, like really large scoop of the product. Look what I'm doing. A perfect cameraman, catching everything. Release it a little bit from your brush so it's easier to work with. Okay, and then we are going to build up the apex only in the middle, like the temperatures wouldn't allow me to play long with it. So I'm kind of blending. Now that was my blending around the cuticle area, and then I'm building up the apex all the way down to the middle. I have no more time for fun. So just smooth this out a little bit, and then other side, and that's my extensions build, and no more time. Cook it in. If you would play too long, you will just make a mess with it. And I do suggest once you start feeling the product starts to run, just freeze it because it's a better option rather than trying to perfect it and then you are not able. I have freeze the product and I can see the apex area. I could maybe, no, because it's coughing. Yes, I'm missing just a tiniest bit ever of the product on that side and a tiny bit on the other side. So I'm just going to touch this up. And honestly, guys, this is so much easier to work with because first of all, look how smooth the top surface is. We don't have to file later on that much if you would use this technique. And then with this tiny scoops of the product, we can just fill up any other places you would want it to touch before you have cured. But that would be a wrong idea, really. So I do prefer it doing this way. And now I've got lots of time to play because I'm only working with the tiniest amount of the product ever. So I can play as long as I want. The gel always shrink a little bit, but I don't want to have too heavy coverage around the cuticle area because I love it when the lunula is visible. Like, so when we file, like I love when lunula is visible, it looks much nicer for any kind of designs. Like I'm not the fan of the gel polish over the extensions. I just like the feel of those pure gel. Honestly, it's so awesome. I can close the products. This is a medium color as well. Like we've got darker one and we've got lighter one. And obviously, guys, you know the Perfect Rose is my favorite one on my nails. On clients, it's funny because on the clients I use the most often. I would say I use the Milky Pink. Especially when we apply the gel polish because it has those milky color through it. It makes the extensions, the gel polish to kind of be more vibrant color if we use the lighter base. I've got another 90 seconds to cure and I can remove the form. I want to give it an extra pinch and this time I'm putting my pinching clamp underneath like this. Okay, squeeze it nice. And then finish the curing of the nail. Okay, so get some UV cleanser ready and then we can shape this nail. I will put some baby white in here as well, just so we don't cover everything with the dust. There we are. So remove the pinching clamp, UV cleanser, and look like how nice it looks. Even before the filing isn't too bad, you know, and the pinching is so nice as well. So I'm going to
use the
UV cleanser because the gel never cures 100%. There is always a sticky layer, and the reason for the sticky layer is so the next layer of the gel is going to stick to that because the gel doesn't stick into the shiny surface. So we need either a sticky layer or we need a rough surface. Okay, so I couldn't, because it's shiny now, I cannot add another layer of the gel over it. I would need to scratch it, give it scratches to it, or have some inhibition layer, the sticky layer, so the next layer will attach to it. Okay, I'm sorting out my lower arches first, because they really like, since we have pinched them, so that's my nail flat. Okay, there is no lower arches, and because we pinch, they go down, they kind of become longer. Okay, so it was like this, and then we made them like this, and that's what we've gotten here, lower arches, like you can see it. They are really strong. I am not fan, so that will be like if I would shorten at the free edge as well, more shorten at the free edge. This will be kind of like if they would come up really straight from the natural nail. Let me file it straight a little bit. So this will be your kind of square shape. I don't want square shape, like I don't like those low arches to be so low. I'm going to cut them out like this, okay, into the coffin shape. So let's straighten them first. So I'm starting with almost like a tapered square. So first of all, starting with the tapered square. Now the nails are quite thick, and I want to show you that, guys, how thick they are. You can see it, but we will, when we file them, we will leave all those thickness all the way down through the middle of the nail on those strategic places, and the end and the sides are going to be really nice and thin for those slim look. Okay, so now I'm going to file those lower arch into the coffin shape. Okay, so you can see it. Keep the file straight, like don't file it this way because you make them too rounded and that wouldn't look nice. So one side, and then do the same on the other side. Okay, and that looks really bulky and ugly. Okay, the magic movement go up all the way down to thin out those arch. Okay, so we are going to thin it up now. Look at this side. Okay, really nice and beautiful coffin shape. Do the same on the other side. Do the same on the other side. I need something higher on my chair. Okay, now I can file the free edge a little bit more. You can still see it, how thick is that, like how much product we've got in there. So we are going to smooth it out the entire surface. I actually love my middle finger. Oh, it looks so much better already. I love how my middle finger pinch. It's always pinched so beautiful. It looks so much slimmer than it actually is. Okay, so you can see the structure, the thickness of it. And now I'm just going to make it look nice and beautiful. So I remove the thickness from the edges here, not through the entire side, just the edges there. There we are, they already look much better. I want to remove the thickness from the free edge. I don't want it to be so thick. And obviously each time if I would shorten the nail, the thickness will come back because I'm only filing those parts at the ends. Okay, let's do the other side. Thin this out. Thin this side out even more. And that's enough. I think it's beautiful. It is really beautiful nail. Okay, we need to blend everything around the cuticle area, so clean the dust. And you can see it, we even didn't touch it some parts of the nail. So now I'm going to blend everything around the cuticle area. So like go all the way around the cuticle. Not only on the top, on the sides as well. File it there. And then take a buffer and buff everything to make it nice and smooth. So with the buffer, I'm just going exactly the same. I can buff it underneath a little bit. I can buff it the sides, other side, around the cuticle area. And then all over. And basically that's my nail finished. I hope, guys, you have really enjoyed this tutorial and you have learned something new as well. Oh, that's so nice and slim. I love new sets, honestly. They're always so much better. With the old set, doesn't matter what we do, how much we try, they're never going to be pretty. That's the truth about it. I was so struggling with the last set because obviously my natural nails have been too long, and this one is so nice and pretty. So that's the nail which we have done it. You can see the side, you can see it, the thickness of it in there, apex, blending at the cuticle. Yeah, and that's how I'm doing it with my left hand. So hit the share button, guys, if you have learned something new out of this video. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Glittery hacks, and bye for now.